Okay, welcome to the course summary. Before we wrap up, let's take a step back and connect the key takeaways from each module. This summary is focused on what actually matters, what you can apply in practice, and how it ties back to using AI responsibly. In this chapter, we're going to do a recap of everything that we've learned over the past 3 modules and tie it to the learning objectives we set out to accomplish back in the course introduction. As a reminder, those learning outcomes are understanding how data moves through an AI system, being able to audit your data to prevent privacy leaks, monitoring your AI tools, and reliably validate the outputs that you get from those tools, and then promoting responsible AI adoption. In Module 1, we focused on what happens before data ever reaches an AI tool. We started by identifying hidden risks, and that's what we called data toxicity. This included things like material non-public information, bank account details, and even hidden rows or tabs that AI can still read, and we saw that in our practical example. The key takeaway here is that AI doesn't distinguish between what you meant to share and what is actually presented. It reads everything. We then moved into structuring data correctly. We saw how formatting changes, the way that the AI looks at things, like merged cells or blank rows. It can break how AI interprets a data set. This directly ties to understanding how data flows through an AI system. And finally, through the cache positioning exercise we applied in practice, you had to identify those hidden risks, the structural issues with the file, and the sensitive data before it was uploaded. So in this module, we directly addressed 2 of our key objectives. We looked at how to understand how data moves through our AI systems and auditing that data to prevent privacy and security risks before AI has ever even been used. In Module 2, we shifted from inputs to process. What happens while AI is actively being used? We focused heavily on traceability. When an AI produces an output, especially in finance, you need to be able to explain exactly where that number came from. And that includes version control, naming conventions, and explicitly referencing the source data. We also introduced the concept of data drift. This is where AI, can use outdated or misaligned data without even realizing it. We looked at a FX hedging exercise to bring this to life. The AI recommendation looked reasonable to us and was mathematically consistent, but it used the wrong FX rate due to a structural issue in the dataset. The only way to catch that was to trace the logic back to the source file. So in this module, we reinforced how data flows through AI systems, and more importantly, how to monitor and validate outputs in a structured and repeatable way. And then in Module 3, we focused on what happens after the AI produces an output, and this is where the real decision risk exists. We introduced a structured validation approach, introducing the idea that we would check key numbers, reviewing conditions within files, and tracing those outputs back to the underlying source data. We looked at a covenant summary exercise that demonstrated how dangerous AI errors can really be. The output looked polished and credible, but it misstated the liquidity threshold, introduced a cure period that didn't exist, altered the meaning of the agreement that we loaded in the first place, and ultimately overstated the flexibility of that agreement. And these weren't necessarily obvious errors. Some of them were more subtle, and that's exactly what makes them risky. We also covered data retention and how information can persist beyond the initial interaction, which is a critical but often overlooked risk. This module ties directly to validating AI outputs and promoting responsible adoption, ensuring that teams that use AI use it confidently, but with the right controls in place. Congratulations, you have successfully completed this module. I want to thank you all for embarking on this AI journey with me. I hope it has inspired you to start your own AI journey.